Hi, I'm so excited to be here
Hi.
with Nina Lacher.
Hi.
And Nina is a previous pre-launch plan program student, and I'm just so happy that you're here. Nina, tell everyone all about you and what you do, and tell them about where you live because it sounds mostly like paradise.
Hi, Brenna. So first, thanks all for having me. Feeling honored. My name is Nina Lacher, Lacher, however you're gonna pronounce it. I'm German, living in Spain on the beautiful island of Mallorca. And I am a business coach and also a positive psychology coach. And I work with coaches, online entrepreneurs, help them grow their business in a way that really feels aligned with them and their values and how they want to create their business. And I also work with people basically on their happiness.
Yeah. So explain a little bit about that, about the happiness part.
Yeah. Well, positive psychology is like the youngest, let's say, arm of psychology. All is very scientific, scientifically proven assessment tools. And basically, psychology normally focuses on lack of or problems people are facing in their lives. And positive psychology is really focusing on strengths and on talents and on resilience and on a growth mindset. And whatever is your talent will lead you to excellence. And you can try as hard as you want. If something isn't in your realm of excellence or talent or strengths, you can never become as good as you would in something where you actually have a natural strength. So that, of course, helps in terms of building a strong personal brand and really in how you want to do business. Like, not everyone has the same approach on marketing, on selling, on how they want to run their business. And as soon as you really tap into your strengths and your values and how you want to do business, it will feel so much easier. And the same is true for your personal life. So I always say you cannot have your business separate from who you're being, right? It's all kind of like mixed and connected. So I really love this work. One of my biggest strengths, or my biggest strengths, is positivity.
Yes, that is for
And
sure.
yes, and so I always say my biggest gift is seeing people's brilliance and to really help them see it for themselves and implement it in their life and their business.
No, I love that, especially because in this day and age, I have so many thoughts, and I don't want to get too much off and go into it like a rabbit hole. But that people talk a lot about like an online business, how you should separate business from your personal life, and I think that's really interesting. What you said is that you can't even, and maybe that's part of what we're always like fighting against ourselves in terms of that.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you are not your business, right? And you need, let's say, times when you really disconnect and when you're just being whoever you are. But um, it is so personal, especially if you run a coaching business or a client or service-based business, because basically you are the golden goose. You bring yourself, right? And so it is important to really do things that feel aligned with who you are and how you want to sell, how you want to market, how you want to show up, how much you want to work, when you want to work, right? And so it is very, very individual. And so I always say there is no framework for success. It's just you, your talents. And also, I say business should feel fun. I mean, we all know you have to work for things and it's not fun all of the time. But if it's not something that really makes you feel like, yes, I want to do this, this is really how I want to do things, why are you even trying?
Right. Yes. And the business is too hard to not be having fun and not love what you're
Yeah,
doing. And so
yeah.
I love that. And so let's talk a little bit because this is you coach people in this area. And so
Mhm.
before you found the pre-launch plan program, tell me a little bit of like where you were at or maybe what you were struggling with in terms of helping people get these amazing
Yeah,
services.
yeah. I think everybody who or anyone who has launched a live launch knows how much energy that takes. Like this constant upkeeping of energy of, marketing and selling and, coming from a place of, yes, let's do this. So I have done several launches, and although I have a background in marketing, and although, you know, I really love what I'm doing, it felt exhausting, kind of like to keep up the energy. And I found you. I don't even know how I found you, but I found you. And I thought, oh, that is interesting. Like, what if it could be easier? What if, like, I like structure. I'm a very structured person. And you were talking about the pre-launch, and I was like, that is interesting. So, and then I, you know, started to follow you, and I have a very strong intuition, and I knew I wanted to work with you. I just knew, I just followed that. And I thought, okay, yeah, that sounds like something that could be really interesting for myself and also then for my clients, to make it easier and not to come from this place of hassle and grind and exhausting yourself, but to really have a plan and ease into things. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. So I know, so did you feel like there was like a turning point where like, yes, or do you think you kind of just knew all along that it was going to be the right?
Oh, Brenna, I learned so much from you. Honestly, it's so many things, and I really loved our Voxer conversation. You were offering um, Voxer conversations because, you know, I have a busy schedule. I was pretty booked, and I didn't have time to, you know, hop on another call. At least that's what I told myself. So I really like this. Yeah, well, I really want to do this, but I needed this like personal touch to know, do I like her? Do I really like, is it a fit? And I use Voxer for my clients. And so we've been Voxering back and forth, and to hear your voice was very personal. I offer this now in my own, you know, business. And then I was pretty clear. Yep, let's do this. She's real. Yep. So the Voxer thing was really getting me over the fence.
Oh, I love it's so interesting to hear for just in general, like what was that thing that like pushed people over, made people,
Yeah.
and I do. Well, I mean, of course I love Voxer. I have a whole summit around it, but it's just such an easy way to communicate and be asynchronous and
Yeah.
do it on people's schedules. And I also think too, for me, there you don't feel like I'm on a call with someone staring at me and asking me to make a decision, right? Where I think Voxer follows along a lot with my own values and how I buy, which is like, okay, I think I want to do this, but I need a moment to come to that decision myself. And I don't like to feel like as soon as I start to feel that
Push.
like pressure or push
Yeah.
and I'm not quite there yet, then it makes me like recoil. And so and then I avoid it. Like I will rarely get on a sales conversation with someone unless I'm like 99.9% sure I'm already doing it. So
Yeah. Yeah. I had the same, and I really know what I want to do in my business. I'm pretty sure in how I invest. It has to be accessible time-wise for me. I know what parts are missing, what I want to, you know, get going. And I also signed up for your Voxer support that you were offering. I don't know if you're still offering it. And that
yes.
really aligns with pretty much how I like to work. So having the option to go through the buying decision via Voxer, that was done pretty soon. I think 3, 4 messages. And then I always have to sleep over a night. Like I'm someone, I just, you know, give me a night and then I'll know. And then I said, yes, let's do this. And then I bought the premium package. I don't know if it's called premium package, so that I had Voxer access. And yeah, love that.
Yeah. And I think that's really smart because in sales conversations in general, what we were taught, at least when I first like started online business, is like, okay, get people on a call, have them make a decision. If they say no, they need to think about it. That's really an objection that you need to handle while you're on the
Yeah.
call. And I just think it's kind of an archaic way of doing business. And I think especially in this market, not the way that people want to be treated when they're making a buying decision. So
Yep.
I love that. Now, once you got into the program, can you describe a little bit of how you felt the support was, how our Voxer conversations went back and forth?
Yeah. So first of all, what I really loved is it was really structured. And I think one of the first messages I gave you was, "Oh, Brenna, it's so simple, I can do it," or something
Yeah.
like that.
I have a
Because
screenshot from you saying that.
I remember that. And, I already had a lot of things going on in my business at that point. I'm also offering a coach certification in German language. So I think I was in the middle of that. I don't even remember. And my head was spinning. And so having, everything like really structured and nicely prepared and different ways of learning styles, I love that. And about the Voxer conversation, oh my God. So you really poked me. Like, you really, if I say torture, I mean it in the best way possible. But you
Maybe I don't want to
really,
use this as
really,
a, as a testimonial. I'm just kidding.
no, really in the best way possible, really sat down to do the work. Like, and it really helped me to see some things that I wasn't really seeing for myself, because as usual, you need somebody helping you to see what you're too close to see. And you had a beautiful way to do that, a very sophisticated way, something very elegantly, smoothly. And I loved our conversations and how you really questioned everything and you went layer for layer deeper. And that was work. Yeah, I couldn't escape like this, getting to the point where I really felt like, yes, now it's there. Like, yeah. And that was what we did in the Voxer conversations. Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that.
So if for anyone who's listening, so at the beginning of the pre-launch plan program, we really hone in on what I call your outstanding offer overview. Like, what is that thing that you can say in a couple of sentences? It's so clear that someone's like, yes, this is what I need. And it sounds, I joke even when I do this for myself. I'm like, it's the 2 sentences, 1 to 2 sentences that took me like a month to come up with, right?
Yeah.
Because we're really going deep. And I think that is something with inside of the program, is that we're not doing surface. This isn't just like another course where you go through. We're really working together personally. And even if you don't do the VIP, we're doing this during our coaching calls through the
Yeah.
Facebook group, is that we're really getting to the heart of what you're trying to sell. Because how can we, and this isn't for Nina, but in general, it's like, if we're not so clear on that offer on the other side of the transformation, the offer promise of where we're taking someone to, it makes it really, really hard to build out a content and launch plan that speaks to that. And so getting clarity on that at first, and it is, I unfortunately, Nina's not the only person that's ever said it felt like a tiny bit of torture, because it does, it makes you question, like, what am I doing? But once you get that moment of clarity, we always know it's like, yes, we got it.
Yeah.
Like, we got this.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
can you talk a little bit about getting some of that clarity through the program? Because it's not necessarily that's before we even start strategizing. Can you talk a little bit about like what that felt like and how it's helped you?
Definitely. So one of the things that I really, really loved about the program, uh, just before we were hopping on this call, I was just reflecting on it. And I think one of the things that really stood out for me, besides the Voxa, was the market research and the way you integrated AI, ChatGPT. Your program really helped me eliminate all the second guessing I had around that. And you really helped me to dial into things. I'm using it all the time, but in a very specific way, the way you were teaching it. And it made a big, big difference in how I work and how I also work with my clients and how I use it. And also how I use market research in a way. Brilliant, honestly. I think, and then how you use that to create the pre-launch. Brilliant. That was just worth the whole thing of it. Like really, really. Because I think many people, even if for many, AI ChatGPT is something they use every day, but so many people don't. And especially if they're starting out and everything is overwhelming and new and it's tech and there's so much things to think of. And then you're just pushing it away a little bit because it feels like, oh, it gets very impersonal, whatever comes out sounds generic and so on. And it does if you don't have a process. So that was, I would say, the part that I absolutely loved. Yeah, that was really helpful.
which is, I don't know if you've heard yet, I'm actually in the middle of creating custom GPTs. I'm calling them Brennan's bots. So not only will you get to use and implement AI more, but you really use it as, I'm calling it like, it's almost like an assistant, right? Like having an assistant,
Ooh.
someone that can reflect back to you and customizing the prompts and things that we had already done. So I'm so excited about it, because I
Ooh,
do think that when you can figure out how to use AI in a productive way, it can make your life so much easier and streamline what you
100%.
do and help you evaluate, like what we used to do manually in the program. Now AI can help us like evaluate and analyze what's working and maybe where we're off or things that we hadn't thought about before. So I love that it was so helpful for you.
Yeah.
And so for once going through the program, like what are some of the things that you've seen that coming out of it that have worked for you in terms of helping clients, getting clients?
As I said, I deeply believe in, once you tap into who you are, once you establish your personal brand, everything will feel so much easier. And the more you really learn to talk in your client's language will help you to combine these two things. And I have learned that this has made a big change in how I help my clients create their businesses for them personally, but also for how they market their business. It's almost like a secret weapon, I would say. I love that, right? And one of my favorite words is to ease into things. And I believe the process I've learned has created a lot of ease around things, ease around content, how exactly that is set up, what language I'm using, and what I stand for. Yeah.
And then what wins have you seen by using the
Oh,
program?
while we were working, I signed 2 one-on-one clients. Coincidentally, it was really like, it wasn't planned. They showed up out of nowhere. And everything felt a lot less, a lot effortlessly, more effortlessly than before. That was 2 wins. And there were so many little wins that probably I've only been realizing all along the way. Writing copy has become a lot easier, right? And structuring the way I put content out has become a lot easier. I never run out of ideas, and I feel very sure to speak to my ideal client. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is a lot more, yeah, feeling assured about things, I would say.
Yeah, I think when we talked to, well, it sounds like too, like something I want to point out, it sounds like you probably got your investment back before the program was
Oh,
even
yeah.
over, by
Yeah.
signing those clients. And the other thing too is, I know when we went back and forth and talked, is that you just had like getting all of this clarity about how to talk about what you offer, because for you, it could, you're a business coach in some sense, right? And so it could get it could be broad to really hone in on how you're different and be able to communicate that. So can you talk a little bit too about like how you have felt about in terms of your communication about what you do and help people by going through the program?
I would say I understood a lot better to niche further down, and I allowed myself to niche further down and to get more specific, and also my message got more specific. And I also found the language that I wanted to use, because language is super important, I believe. And that has made a big difference all around, like this niching further down, giving myself the permission to really say, okay, this is what I'm going to talk about. These are the 4 or 5 things that I'm going to talk about, and this is the way I'm going to talk about it, right? And it resonated. And to really see the shift it made in my messaging, but also in who contacted me, right? That was really very interesting.
Can you expand on that a little bit about the who contacted you?
So it was like I put out the message. I said, okay, I'm going to work with coaches that are in the realm of 0 to 30K. And it's not about if they are new or something, but it's about creating a repeatable process. Like, you know, when you probably make the first money as coach, it often feels very coincidentally like, oh, how did that happen? Like, how can I make this happen again? Right. And some people, you know, everybody is on their own timeline. Some people make 30K in their first month, some in their first year, some maybe in 2 years, depending on how much time they're investing, some maybe never. But so what happened was that I spoke a lot more specifically to this kind of people. And the people who reached out to me were exactly the people I spoke to. So it worked. The message worked, right? And that was very interesting for me to see and to really also find the difference between, okay, you're starting out and you have made 0 to 30K, because everybody has their own timeline. You can make that money really fast and you can need 2 years for it, right? It really depends. And once you get there, you need a repeatable process that you can implement. Yeah. So that it doesn't feel like, oh, this just happened, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I do, because I think that's so important. And one of the benefits of going through this process is that you want to call in better fit clients. And
Yeah.
that sounds exactly like what one of the things that happened to you by going through and doing this.
Yeah. And I remember, I think we've been playing around with the word hardlet or something like this. And I just came back and I had a conversation with someone, and I really had the thought, oh yeah, Brenna was right. That's it. Like I'm
What
very
word was
positive,
that?
but
I
I'm
missed it.
also hardlet.
Heart,
Hardlet. I think we were
heartlet. Okay.
talking about hardlet, yeah.
Yes.
And sometimes I think things need to sink in a little until they come up to the surface again and you're feeling like, okay, yeah, now I get it. Now I know what she meant. Sometimes it takes a while. And I was just reflecting back. I had a conversation with someone. I don't even remember exactly what it was, but yeah, right? Like I really love what I'm doing and I love my clients. I believe in my clients. Like it's something that is really close to my heart. And I'm not a business coach who's like I've been working with coaches, brilliant coaches, but they were really like, you know, tied up and very like business focused. And I'm not like that. It's not the way I work, right? And I'm very like, people always tell me, whenever we had a session with you, I feel like I can do anything. Like I feel so good about myself. And that is something, this a way how I work. I work with a lot of heart, right? And I still get them results. But it's I dialed into how I work with clients. Also on a, let's say, energetic level. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does make sense. And that was something that needed, that was part of the torture that needed, I had it. Like, how can we communicate this succinctly in a way that people would understand and say, yes, this is the
Yeah.
type of thing that I'm looking for. And
Yeah.
so it sounds like, just as we kind of wrap up here in the next second, I would love to speak to, because going back to the structure and something that we talked about at the beginning is, it sounded like that was what very helpful to you in terms of
Yeah.
having a step-by-step process of how to communicate these things that we're talking about. Could you speak to that just a little bit?
Yeah. As I said in the beginning, like your program is very structured. It is created in a way that everybody can follow on their own, let's say, timeline, on convenience, how much time they want to invest. And also what was really helpful was the implementation weeks that you're planning in, because it is a bit of work, right? And so you have space to breathe, which was really helpful, because actually my schedule wasn't on hold while we were working. And I really enjoyed that. Everything was very structured. I love to work with Google Drive. So that was perfect for me. And yeah, it is really like step by step by step. If you follow the process, you will get results. Pretty easy.
Yeah, no, I agree. So if anyone is like on the fence and they're like, should, if they're at that point like you were, where you're like, I think I want to do this, but I'm not sure, what would you say to that?
As first of all, I think you're brilliant. I would say do it, but no, let's go a bit deeper. If you're ready to really do the work, and follow your process, as I said, there will be results. Yes or yes. You are brilliant in picking people up. You are amazing in helping them to frame their message and to really help them understand what is important to surface. So you're a strong leader in what you're doing, I would say, definitely. And I enjoyed that. You have a lot of experience. So, and you deliver, like you never let anyone down. So for example, you're offering the audits, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is really interesting to see what you're doing and how you're going over it. So I would say if you are serious about launching more and you want to take the stress out of things and you want to give your message a lot of love, that's the perfect fit program. And you will definitely feel a lot more confident using ChatGPT, also Google Drive, all that kind of stuff. The structure that I think really helps to work less, more efficiently. Yeah.
That's what we all want. So, well, thank you, Nina, for being here. I appreciate you. The pre-launch plan program is opening up again September 26th. And if it's something that you're interested in, let me know. Send me a Voxer. And thank you again, Nina, for being here. I really appreciate it.
Welcome.
Thanks.
So welcome. Thank you, Brenna. I see your doggy there, like mine.
Yep. Gotta have the dogs. Bye.
Yay. Okay, bye.